Hello, everyone, and a warm welcome to each one of you who is come and glued on to the screen for this game of the Dad's Premier League. This is a contest between the AVM Yoddhas and the United Gladiators. The Yoddhas opening proceedings with the bat, Chetan and Shreyans with the ball. The umpire calls it a wide, and they scamper across for a single. So the Yoddhas get their innings underway with those extras. So the news from the middle is that the Gladiators have won the toss and they've decided to have a bowl first. Fading lights as the sun sets upon us on what is gearing up to be a tantalizing evening of non-stop cricketing action. And now we have Vishal on strike, taking his guard well outside his crease, with Shreyansh to continue. Oh, that's a much better delivery from Shreyansh, keeping it on that fourth stump channel, getting just enough bounce to deceive Vishal for that particular instance, and well gathered by the keeper there. Vishal is the batsman who's currently in good touch, fresh off a century in his previous game. Full length delivery, tapped it to that fielder at third man. So no run again. So here's Vishal looking to counter any swing or movement by standing outside his crease. He's picked that one nicely, and that is the first boundary of the innings. Like I said, Vishal is the man in form. Short-ish length, takes his time, sets himself up beautifully, and pulls it gracefully over that fielder at mid-wicket for four. And that is the first boundary. And Vishal gets up and running with that. Sat up nicely for Vishal there, and he did not need any second invitation to go for the full Monty. Vishal ready to take the attack to the bowling. Again, straying down the leg side, and that has gone to the boundary as well. Leg by, says the umpire. Yes, clips a little bit of the pad. Too quick for the keeper to do anything about it, and that races away to the fence. So already 10 runs coming off the first over. This is once again a very, very good start for the Yoddhas with the bat. That is another boundary for Vishal. So Vishal has decided that he is going to dominate the bowling attack come what may. And that is once again a beautiful strike. Here, let's have a look at that again. Again, a shortish delivery, but not enough pace. And that is sitting once again very beautifully for Vishal. He does not need a second invitation to go for that. And that is another boundary. So already 14 runs coming off it and still one delivery to go. The Yoddhas kick-starting their batting with arguably the most perfect scenario here. And Vishal already going great guns. Here he is. Goes straight down the ground this time, but the fielder at mid-on will gather. And they come across for a single. And there's an overthrow, but there is protection out there, but they will not get the second run. Chetan was way behind the stumps to even think of a second run, but that is the end of the first over. 15 runs coming off it without a wicket. Puneet is the new bowler from the other end, and he will like to pull things back after the expensive first over that has seen the AVM Yoddhas get off the mark in quick flurry with boundaries. Here's Vishal once again, and to counter the tactic of Vishal standing outside his crease, the keeper has come up, not allowing him to get the upper hand in this matchup. So that is smart thinking from the fielding side. As you can see, Vishal standing in his crease now compared to the previous over. Here's Puneet. Plays that one nicely, but there is protection out there and the fielder at mid-off gathers. Vishal has had enough of the helmet, takes it off. Here is Puneet. Plays that straight down the ground, but again collected by the fielder, will only be a single. And finally, after what seems like an eternity, Chetan will take strike for his first ball of the inning so far. He's been patiently waiting and watching from the non-striker's end. Finally, time for him to get into the action. Lets that go watchfully, taking his time to settle himself. And the first over has also given him a little bit of a platform so he can take a couple of balls to just set himself up nicely. That is what being an aggressive partner from the other side can do for you. It give you just that extra bit of time that you need to acclimatize to those conditions and make better use of them as and when the game progresses. Meanwhile, Puneet has bowled a pretty tight over so far, 4 balls in. He'd like to keep it that way, he'd like to keep it tight. It's a little bit wide, he strayed just that bit wider on the off stump. We'll have to bowl that one again. But still, it's been a pretty good over. He's had 3 dot balls, a single and a wide now. He's bowled to his field well. And Chetan takes the aerial route. There is a fielder, the deep fielder there gathers. Will only be a single. So Chetan gets off the mark with that single now. Keeper has continued to stand up. And that is a very, very good tactic to avoid both the batsmen from standing and taking their guard outside the popping crease. Vishal taking strike. Puneet to bowl. That's in the air. It's high. Fielder coming underneath it. Takes it. And that is the first wicket gone. And it is the danger man, Vishal, who has to depart. He was looking good. Once again, had a very, very good start in that previous over with those quick fire boundaries. He was looking to go for the big shot once again. Yeah, he's going to play it across the line. Only manages to get the bottom edge, and the ball went high and stayed in the air for a very, very long time. Very good effort from the fielder, composes himself, waits for it, and eventually gathers it safely. End of the second over, the AVM Yoddhas are 18 for 1. However, before getting dismissed, Vishal did play a couple of good shots. As you can see, he was looking good. He was picking the lengths nicely. He was setting himself up for a big score like he did in the previous game. Here's another. He had two boundaries, and you, based on the way he's played them, look at that. He was picking them up pretty nicely. I think that was a very smart. And here's the wicket. Let's have a look at this. I think here's the smart ploy. They bowled it a little wide outside his reach, and that forced him to reach for that ball. And as you can see, as he was reaching out, he did not get the connection that he was looking for. And what would have otherwise been a pretty easy boundary, the effort that Vishal had to put means that all he managed to do was get an edge, a leaning edge, and that ball went high in the air before settling into the hands of the fielder. So now Vishal's back in the hut, and the onus is now on Chetan to be the senior partner in this, but he's only faced two deliveries. Ritesh, oh, that's a lovely start, and he's been given. What a start this is for Ritesh. And all of a sudden, the Yoddhas have been rocked back by two wickets in two consecutive deliveries. First Vishal and now Chetan, both the openers back in the pavilion. And now the Yoddhas find themselves in a pickle. Let's have a look at that wicket once again. First ball from Ritesh, the new bowler. Again, that corridor of uncertainty. Fourth stump line. Gets a feather. And the keeper takes a good catch back. So Chetan has to depart for just a single. Did not manage to trouble the scorers a lot this time. So now all of a sudden the Yoddhas find themselves in a bit of a sticky situation. They've lost both their openers, one of which had a century in the previous game. And now they have two new batsmen, and both of them are yet to face a delivery. So that is indeed a bit of a trouble spot for the Yoddhas. However, there is still a lot of time to go in their batting innings. We're still into the third over. So they can take their time, they can set themselves up, they can rebuild nicely and set a platform before letting loose. But for now, at least for the next couple of overs or so, staying in the middle and getting used to the pitch would be of utmost importance for both Shailesh and Neelav. Shailesh, the batsman who will be taking strike, Ritesh will definitely be confident and chomping at the bit of bowling to a new batsman. Here he is. Ooh, just straying a little bit down on the leg side and rightly called a wide. So he will have to bowl that one again. So the Yoddhas have come back superbly after giving away that big first over. Oh, that's well kept. So the Gladiators have made a very good comeback here. Ritesh bowling very well there once again. Very close to the edge. So the Gladiators have done a tremendous job. They did concede 15 in the first over. It was a very expensive over, but after that, they've given away just 4 runs since and taken 2 wickets in the process. Oh, that was well wide. Not much the keeper could do. And just when I was talking about how they pulled things back, a poor delivery from Ritesh means that it is 5 wides. So that has added 5 more runs to the total. There, well wide. Not much the keeper could do. He did put in a dive, but the ball had already gone past him. And that will be wide again. So after what had been a pretty accurate start from Ritesh, he's lost his range a bit and he's gone awry with his lines and lengths. He'll have to settle himself and compose himself quickly, or this might go and turn into a big over and a lengthy over. That's a much better delivery. Again, keeping it around that fourth stump, fifth stump channel. I think that is what he was looking for. And that is exactly what the ploy was when he got that wicket. So we are in the power play, two fielders outside the 30-yard circle, and those two fielders are the deep third man and the deep point. A direct hit there, a very good throw from the fielder there, but the batsman comfortably reached their ground and made it for a single. So 4 balls into the over, 8 runs off it and a wicket as well. And Neelav, the left-hander, now on strike for his first ball, standing well outside his crease as well. Plays that well, but straight to the fielder. Oh, that would have been a very, very close call. On the face value of it, that looked like a pretty risky single because Neelav had timed it exceedingly well. He's got that off the middle of the blade. There, look at that. Well gathered, quickly released, and oh, he would have been gone had the bowler collected it. The throw was perfect. The bowler had to gather that clearly and much better. Had he gathered that cleanly, they would have been celebrating a third wicket. But it is not to be, and Neelav gets off the mark. So here's Shailesh now. He will have to bowl that one again. Another wide. So 4 wides already in this over. He's been accurate and inaccurate in equal measure. When he's been accurate, Ritesh has been on the money. But when he's been inaccurate with his lines and length, the less said about it, the better. Here is Ritesh to Shailesh. Oh, he's picked that one nicely. He's picked that very nicely indeed, and that is gone to the boundary. And that is exactly the peril of bowling an extra delivery. Here, short pitch delivery gets into stance very quickly, and because there is no protection out in the deep on the leg side, that was the safe option, the risk-free option. And because he bowled an extra delivery, that is once again another expensive over. 14 runs coming off it. 3 overs gone, and despite losing 2 wickets, the AVM Yoddhas are 32 for 2. So Puneet comes back for his second over. Bowled a very, very accurate first over, giving away just 3 runs and a wicket. And as you can see, once again, the keeper standing up for Neelav. Oh, he's played that nicely. Will get a single because of the fielder there at mid-off. I think by now, the Gladiators have probably understood that all the batsmen from the Yoddhas have this propensity of taking their guard outside the crease. They can't do that a lot, but I think this is a good way of restricting the batsman's range, at least in the power play, so that they're not able to capitalize on those field restrictions. So this is good thinking by the fielding side, keeping their keeper up to the stumps as much as possible. And as you can see, once again, Shailesh also taking his guard inside the popping crease rather than out. Here is Puneet. Oh, he's played that nicely and fine. but very well fielded there by that fielder at short third. It was the right shot. The execution was pretty well executed as well, but the fielding was up the mark at that particular instant. He knew exactly the shot that was going for, made the ground and made it in just the right amount of time so that he got there and stopped what was looking to be a pretty good boundary. What the Gladiators will need here is a couple of quiet overs just to get into the rhythm of things. Here's Neelav. Full toss, low full toss. Again, the Gladiators' close in fielding has been pretty tight. While they did manage to get the single this time, they have not fumbled a lot of deliveries. They've managed to create a couple of situations from the field which they were not able to take advantage of. But overall, in the first 3.5 overs, the Gladiators have been on their toes as far as their fielding efforts are concerned. You see a couple of deliveries ago, they saving a boundary here as well. The fielder at mid off, sharp enough. So all in all, it has been a pretty good fielding effort so far, but there is still a long way to go because 16 overs after this, they will have to be alert every single delivery. Here is Shailesh facing Puneet. Well bowled. And a dot ball. So Puneet continuing to bowl accurately and using those lines and lengths to perfection and restricting the run flow for the batsman. Only 3 runs, 3 singles given away. Here is Shailesh once again. And that one will be called a wide. String a little too far down the offside. Here's Puneet. Here, as you can see, yeah, just too wide. But well gathered by the keeper, very well caught. Here, as you can see, very difficult to judge from here. But here again, getting in position quickly and puts in the dive, and the ball sticks to his glove. Oh, he's picked that nicely. And again, because there is no protection and no fielders in the deep on the leg side, and that's raced away to the boundary. Again, gets in position, sets himself up nicely, pulls it over that square leg fielder, and it goes to the boundary. So smart batting this from the Yoddhas, playing the field nicely. They move on to 40 now. Still one more ball left in this over. 8 runs coming off it. Can Puneet pull back this over in his team's favour? Or will Shailesh continue to have the last laugh in this particular over? Started off quietly, 3 singles, but Shailesh will be looking to end this over with a bang in his batting and in the batting side's favour. Keeper still standing up. Here is Puneet. Oh, he's edged that. But this time it beats the fielder, and that is back-to-back boundaries to finish the over. So an expensive over, another one there, plays it late, plays it expertly, and plays it just perfectly to beat the fielder at third man. So back-to-back boundaries for Shailesh, and after 4 overs, the Yoddhas stealing a march on, 44 for 2. Meanwhile, Ritesh will continue with his second over. Went for 14 in his first over, bit of an expensive one. Did get a wicket, but the over was blighted by a succession of wides that he bowled. He bowled 4 of them, one of which did go to the boundary for 4 as well. So he will have to bowl a better over. He'll have to make sure that he's much more accurate this time around. Oh, he's picked that one, but straight to the fielder. So Neelav showing a little bit of aggression here, first up. in this over, giving the charge to Ritesh and picking the ball pretty nicely and timing it well too, but hits it straight to the fielder there. So no run. But it's given a no ball. So that will be a free hit. The bowler overstepping. So this is the worst possible start here. Oh, he's picked that one too, but again he's found the fielder. Oh, a little bit of a hesitation. And the keeper fails to collect that one. That was another opportunity here. However, the batsmen eventually make their ground for a single. That could have been so much more than just a single. That could have been a wicket for the Gladiators. And now both the batsmen coming forward and having a word with each other. The last thing that the Yoddhas currently need is a run out. They want to make sure that the communication between the two batsmen is spot on and that they answer the call at just the right time and avoid any such mishaps as the game goes on, or at least until both of them are on the crease together. Here is Ritesh bowling to Shailesh. Oh, he was trying to glide that once again to that third man boundary, but gathered by the keeper. The intent was right here. He chose the right ball and he tried to play it. The choice of shot was correct too. Just that the ball was a little too good for the batsman. And sometimes you need to give respect to these particular deliveries and just chin up and wait for the next one. Again, this time going for a much more expansive shot than the previous one. He was trying to be cute the previous delivery, but this time he was just put in a little more power and effort into that shot here, trying to free his arms a bit, but the result the same with the ball going to the keeper. So back-to-back dot balls here, and already as we can see, Ritesh bowling a much more accurate line. Again a swing and a miss. So Ritesh having a much better over compared to the previous one. Despite conceding a no ball, he's now bowled 3 dot deliveries in succession, bowling at the same line and length, picking that fourth stump channel, and the batsman's reaction says it all. Giving a little bit of appreciation to the bowling effort, and yeah, you can see that Shailesh will try to. Can he go for the big shot here? Oh, again stifling him up for room, but they do get a quick single out of it. A classic example of a tap and run as displayed, but still it is a very, very good over. Tight over so far. 3 runs off it. Still one more ball to go. Ritesh will hope that he continues his good work and finishes the over strongly as well. He started the over strongly. And again, now that the keeper is behind, Neela stands out as crease. Plays it nicely. Will get a single. So a tighter over this from Ritesh, giving away only 4 runs. And after 5, the Avm Yoddhas are 48 for the loss of 2 wickets. So the final over of the power play, and Puneet has been entrusted to bowl that last over. Deep cover and a long on. The two fielders outside the circle. Oh, the batsman backing away just at the point of release. Not sure the bowler would be happy with that. We'll have to do everything once again. And bowlers have very, very short memories indeed. And now, once again, as you can see, the keeper standing up to the stumps. Here's Puneet. Oh, that's a very, very good ball. That's a good start to the over. Very, very good start. Bowls in full, tucks it onto the pads. Neelav was trying to give the batsman the charge, but he was beaten all ends up and was cramped for room on this occasion. Was very lucky that the ball did not beat him because there was a possible chance of a stumping had he missed that completely. But he's still there out there. He's battling it out, Neelav. He's on 5 of 7. He'd want to get a move on because there are only 5 balls left for the field restrictions to end. Another good Yorker. But this time he just gets away with it with a single. But this is a good start from Puneet. He's bowled very well in these first 2 deliveries. He's kept it full. He's kept it onto the pads. The bigger idea over here is to just make sure that the batsman does not have room on either side of the wicket to free his arms and go for those big swinging shots. But here is the challenge that it presents the bowlers. A batting pair of a right hand and a left hand combination. He'll have to once again alter his lines and lengths according to the batsman because this time it is the right hander who is on strike. And even for him, it is the keeper who is standing up to the stumps. So Shailesh will also take his guard from inside the crease. Here, as you can see. And here's Puneet bowling to Shailesh. And Puneet takes the aerial route. And that is going, and that is gone all the way for 6. The first 6 of the innings pulls his length a little bit, but just in the hitting arc. And Shailesh takes full toll of it. First 6 of the innings for the Yoddhas, and that brings the 50 for the Yoddhas. Halfway through the 6th over. So overall, it has been a good comeback from the Yoddhas after losing 2 wickets and 2 balls. With Shailesh being the aggressor out of the 2. And that has also given Neelav time to set himself and bed himself in the conditions. So the pressure now already on Puneet after that big shot. You'll have to come back strongly. Here is Puneet. Oh, that's a good ball. That is a good ball indeed. And that is the right call by the umpire. Just within the tram lines. And that is a good ball. That is good bowling. Pulling it just a little wide. And that is the intention, to get the batsman away from his hitting arc, out of his comfort zone, to try something different and try something difficult. 2 more balls for the field restrictions to end. You're Shailesh facing Puneet. Oh, this time he goes the aerial route, and that's well hit. And that is racing away to the boundary for 4. Good shot by Shailesh. Quick thinking again and gets enough time, and that's another big over that's coming in. Let's have a look at this once again. Bowls it a little straighter, but this time Shailesh was ready for it. Frees his arms quickly. Quick reaction times means that he was able to get it over the infield for 4. So 11 runs of this over, an expensive one, and still 1 more ball to go. Shailesh has had a 6 and a 4 in the space of 10 deliveries. What can he do here? Plays it gently to the fielder there and will get a single. Are they going to take the overthrow? And the answer is no. So it will remain a single. So that is 12 runs, a dozen runs in the over. And that brings us to the end of the power play. We are 6 overs into the contest. And the Avm Yoddhas, having been put into bat, have put in a decent score in the power play with 60 for 2. So a little glimpse of what happened in the course of the 6 overs. Vishal kick-started proceedings for his side with 2 quick boundaries in the first over, lost his wicket in the second, and that saw a spate with the Gladiators making a brief comeback, getting rid of both the opening batsmen for the Yoddhas in successive deliveries. But from there on, it has been the Shailesh show, who's hit a few boundaries and has been looking in good touch in general, and has taken that score to 60 in the first 6 overs. And we see a new bowling change. It is Ronak who's been brought into the attack, and he will be bowling to Shailesh, who is looking in pretty good nick at the moment, currently batting on 26 of 16 deliveries. Here is Ronak. Bowls. Oh, that is a very, very good ball first up. Good ball. He's bowled it short of a length. Yes, he's hit the hard length very well, and just kept a trifle low. As you can see, Shailesh was definitely looking to cut that ball towards the third man area. Did not get anywhere near it. And another short pitch delivery, and that is, oh, that is not what the bowler would have wanted to see. But Shailesh will take that. A slow-ish ball, picked it late, but picked it from the middle of the bat. That should have been covered, but a bit of casual fielding there in the deep means that what should have been a routine single is given away 4 for that. And after 6 overs of what was good disciplined close in fielding by the Gladiators, this is something that will stick like a sore thumb, because misfields obviously are not a good sign for the bowling side, because they'll want to keep things nice and tight. They've already given away a couple of big overs in quick succession, and conceding a boundary so early in the over because of a misfield will only set them back. Here is Shailesh. Plays that one towards the offside, and like that, that is much better. That is much better fielding there. That is what the fielding side would want to see time and again. And as you can see, Shailesh, once again, they're kicking himself for not able to get the ball past that fielder. But that is more down to the effort of the fielder rather than the inability of Shailesh to find the gap there, because that was well fielded. A quick gather and a quick throw, meaning that there was not a lot of time for Shailesh to get anything more than just a single in that instance. And as you can see, there's a bit of a field change here. There is long on, there's deep mid wicket, there's deep square leg, and there is a long off as well. So 4 fielders out in the deep. Here is Neelav. Plays it nicely across his pads for a single. Knew that there was not a lot of protection inside the circle on the leg side, and manages to play it perfectly in that gap for a single. So after that hesitation in the power play early on, both the batsmen have now had a much better coordination and communication when it comes to running between the wickets. Here is Shailesh facing Ronak. Oh, swing and a miss. So Shailesh not looking to play conservatively anymore. He is trying to take an opportunity in every over to go for a big shot. It has served him well so far. He'll probably be a little more careful now, given that the field restrictions are out. He'll have to pick his spots a little more accurately if he has to get purchase out of those shots. Here's the last ball of the first over for Ronak. Pick that nicely. There is a fielder there. Oh, another misfield! And another boundary. This is not something that the Gladiators would want to see. Again, this one should have been gathered. This one should have been caught. But 2 misfields means 2 boundaries, and once again it's an over in the double digits. 10 runs off it again. And the Yoddhas are 70 for 2 after 7. I mean, obviously this is not something that the Gladiators would want. This is not what they would have expected when they came into this contest. They've given away 6 runs in that over solely because of their misfields. And this could potentially be the difference between winning and losing a game of cricket. Because the game is of such fine margins, Any run extra that is being given away to the batting side is extra to chase from a chasing perspective. And as I speak, Shreyansh has been brought back into the attack. He bowled the first over, giving away 11 runs. His first over went for 11. So Shreyansh will look to have a much more tighter over this time around. And Neelav, the batsman on strike, standing just outside his crease, not too much, plays it ahead in front of him for a dot ball. So this is a good tempo and a good run rate maintained by the Yoddhas. They're going at just under 10. It was 10 earlier. So despite losing two quick wickets, they have maintained this tempo very well. Here is Neela facing Shreyansh. Will get a single, a quick one. So once again, the coordination between the two very, very good indeed. The call made at the right time and the partner accepting the call. Good display of running between the wickets there. And that once again brings Shailesh on strike to face Shreyansh. Takes the aerial route on the leg side. Not enough connection to it. They're looking for two, but was wisely sent back. And there, again, Shailesh eager to look for that overthrow. But again, it was just too close to the fielder to even think of it, and was wisely thinks the better against it. Two singles in the first three balls. Comparatively a quieter over so far. But still 3 balls more to go. Here is Shreyansh coming to Neelav. Plays it once again off his pads. Will be an easy single. Could have probably gone for two had they pushed it, but they were pretty comfortable with the single at that particular instance. Here is Shreyansh. Oh, he's cut that. He's cut that well. But again, this time there's protection in the deep and they come for two. That is excellent running between the wickets. It was a very close call at the end of the day, but he makes it in his ground on just the right amount of time. Will be struggling. Was struggling there a bit. Eventually makes it just in time for a couple. Here, cuts hard. Very good throw, straight at the keeper. And oh, had that been a little closer to the stumps, Shailesh was struggling indeed. But at the end of the day, Shailesh makes his ground. No harm, no foul. And 2 runs added to the total as well. So a very good and tight over. There's just 4 runs off it. One more ball to go. Can Shreyansh finish strongly? The answer is yes. Will get. Oh no, I spoke too soon. Another instance of a misfield by the fielding side. And that is another boundary. Just when it felt like they pulled things back, the misfield comes into rear its ugly head. That's a very well executed pull shot, but it should have been nothing more than just a single here. But that has gone to the boundary, and that is four more runs added to the total. So 8 overs gone. The AVM Yoddhas are 78 for 2. And this is a pretty nice comeback. This is a nice platform that has been built. Nice platform that has been built by the batting side. They managed to overcome the early setback. They managed to overcome the early setback of those two quick wickets and have built an excellent platform. 78 for 2 after 8 overs, and Andy is the new bowler who's brought into the attack. Shailesh currently batting on 37 of 23, and Neelav, the batsman on the other end, playing at a runner ball 13. So Andy bowling to Shailesh. Shailesh has looked the better and the much more comfortable batsman out there in the middle. Shailesh would like to continue in the same vein and get another few quick runs as this game reaches the halfway stage in the first innings. Here is Andy. Bowls in with a little bit of drift. Shailesh picks that up nicely. Will only be a single as the fielder at deep collects it and sends the throw to the bowler. But that was a good start there by Andy, bowling in with a little bit of drift and the ball having just enough bounce to keep Shailesh a little interested and on his toes. Eventually picks the ball nicely, but will only have to settle for a single in that instance. That single means that Neelav will be taking strike and facing Andy for the first time in this contest. There is a long on, there's a long off, there's a deep mid wicket, and there is a deep square leg at the fielders in the deep on the leg side. So they have covered the scoring areas that Neelav normally likes to target in that particular instance. And that is a brilliant catch there. Shailesh was looking to take the charge. He was looking to go for that slog sweep. He thought he had timed that perfectly enough, but it was not to be. That was a nice running catch from the fielder in the deep there at deep mid wicket. And Shailesh has to depart. Here, enough flight, tempting the batsman, and he's picked that nicely. No two mentions about it. But that is a nice running catch. He judges it to perfection as well on the edge of the boundary. And just when it was looking like this partnership was going from strength to strength, the Gladiators strike with their third wicket, and that is time for drinks. So Vishal P is the new batsman out in the middle, and the Gladiators getting a very, very key breakthrough at just the right amount of time and just the right time as well. That will be an opportunity for them to just sneak in a few tight overs, because it was the well set batsman who had to depart. And with Neelav still to find his footing, this could be the perfect opportunity for the Gladiators to tighten things up. Vishal to take strike for the first time in this contest. And Andy, after conceding that boundary, has struck back in style with a wicket. Lets that go watchfully. Dot ball. So good comeback this after conceding the boundary. Just one run conceded and a wicket. 6 runs coming off it. So a tight end to the over would be really, really handy as far as the Gladiators are concerned. Again, bowling with a little bit. It's in the air. And that has, a despairing effort. But that has gone for 6. It's gone all the way. Gave it a little bit of flight. There, as you can see, picks it. But he did not get the timing that he was looking for. But that still had enough. And that was an excellent effort. Make no mistake about that. That was a brilliant effort indeed from the fielder at the deep at long on. But the ball just had that little bit of enough power to clear him and clear the rope. So at the end of the 9th over, the Avm Yoddhas are 90 for 3. So in the meanwhile, Kunal has bowled 3 tight balls after being introduced into the attack. He's given away a couple of singles in the process. Here's Neelav currently batting on 19 of 16. Again, a loopy full toss, but Neelav smartly decides against the temptation of going for the big shot and plays it down the ground to long on for a single. Oh, he's picked that nicely. He's picked that nicely, and that is gone to the boundary for 6. It's gone all the way. That is a brilliantly executed shot. glances it with style and with authority there. And that's been given as a 4. That is a 4 rather than a 6. Oh yes, he's picked that one as well. And that has gone to the rope for 4 too. Over extra cover, smack, bang, deliver, one bounce over the rope. And that brings the 100 up for the AVM Yoddhas. And at the end of 10 overs, it's 101 for 3. And it's time for drinks. So we're into the 14th over of this contest, and the Yoddhas are still stable, going on comfortably for their liking at 115 for 3. However, Neelav will now have to get a move on. He's currently on 22 of 25. He's faced enough deliveries out there in the middle to understand that now is the time to go for the big shots. Cannot wait much longer, because the run rate that they had, what started off as 10 run per over, is now currently gone at close to 8.7, which is a pretty substantial difference from what was going on in the previous first 10 overs. So they'd like to ensure that things go smoothly and they kick things up a notch as far as the aggression is concerned. Here is Ronak bowling to Vishal. Vishal takes the aerial route. Has he found the distance to that? No, but the fielder hasn't found the catch either. Another comfortable chance. So here's the issue with the Gladiators. They're creating the chances. They're creating wicket-taking opportunities, but their fielders are not able to gather to those chances. Here, this was once again an opportunity out there. He did not set himself into position at all, and eventually the ball balloons out of his hands, and which means Vishal lives to fight another day. And here is Neelav now on strike. There's the wicket, the fourth wicket to fall. Plays it, was way in the air, but a very, very comfortable catch again to the fielder at deep square leg, and Neelav has to walk back with his painstaking innings coming to a close. He had to go and take the risk. He had to go for that big shot, but he was just not able to get in under it, and that has meant a loss of a wicket at what was a crucial juncture. So now it's 118 for 4. And Vishal now is the batsman who is set and has the responsibility of taking this innings forward. Rishi is the new batsman who's walked out to the middle. And Andy is the bowler who's come in. He's bowled extremely well. 3 overs, conceded just 19 runs and taken a wicket. With his final over now, he'd like to make sure that he gets at least one more wicket, and preferably the one of Vishal, who is currently the set batsman. Scoring rate has now drastically reduced and has gone below 8.5. Currently at 8.43. Here is Andy. He's got enough bat on that, and that is running away to the boundary for 4. All he had to do for that ball, which was straying down the leg side, was just get a little bat on it, and he gets just enough for the ball to race away to the fence for a boundary. A much needed one in the context of this innings, and a good start given that it was the first ball of the over. Puts the batting side in a pretty strong position from here on to dictate proceedings. In the air, lands safely in no man's land. So they get 2 runs, but Vishal living a bit dangerously now. Will have to make sure that he avoids taking a lot of risks. He's managed to get 6 runs of the first 2 balls. Oh, he's picked the aerial route once again. And this time it's landed safely. Oh, miscommunication between the two fielders, and that's another boundary. So Vishal has capitalized on this and has made this over a very, very big one here. This should have been easily taken, but he overran that, and the fielder behind could not do much about it. So he's picked 10 runs of this over. 3 balls in. The pressure is now well and truly on Andy. 10 runs more taken of him. 3 more balls left in this over. Vishal looking in ominous touch at the moment, as he looks to make this a big over in his side's favour. He'll want to add at least another boundary in this. Just another boundary would be very, very interesting to see how things pan out. And he's gone. So Andy, in fact, has the last laugh after being taken to the cleaners. What a comeback this has been from Andy. He goes for 4, goes for another boundary, and then alters his line a little bit. Forces the batsman to give him the charge, and that is clattered onto the stumps. There. Keeps low, bounces on the second bounce, and that is gone. So Vishal, who is looking good and who is looking well set for a big score, has to walk. And now the Yoddhas have lost half their side for 128. New batsman Shivanandan lets it go, and that's been given as a wide. So Shivanandan and Rishi, once again a very familiar situation for the Yoddhas here. Oh, he's picked that. Big edge going to that fielder at third man. No run. So here's the sticky situation once again for the Yoddhas. They find themselves with 2 brand new batsmen again, and they'll be obviously looking once again, but this time the innings is in such a situation where they'll obviously want to make sure that they have to rebuild for at least an over, because we are into the final 5 overs of this contest, and that is the end of the 15th over. And the AVM Yoddhas currently find themselves on 129 for 5. So the final 5 overs of this batting contest, Rishi starting his innings by taking his guard outside the popping crease and well outside the popping crease actually. And here is Ronak. Big appeal by the umpire, and that is given as a wide. Straying just a bit down the leg side there. Now here's the start. What is, according to the Yoddhas, the perfect score from here on? There are 130, 5 more overs to go. Plays that one nicely, glances it off. That ball is running. The ball is running, and that is gone to the boundary. So that is a good start for the Yoddhas in this slog overs in the final 5. Picks that gap to perfection, times it sweetly. A gentle glance from his pads gets the boundary. So this is a good start to the 16th over by the Yoddhas. They'll definitely be wanting to get to a target of anywhere close to 175 to 180 to give themselves a very, very good chance of defending this total. And obviously, given a wide and a boundary, the pressure once again comes in on Ronak. He'll have to pull things back very, very well from here on. Swing and a miss there from... But that is an edge, is it? Yes, it is an edge. And that is the 6th wicket. So Ronak, using the old-fashioned ploy to perfection, bowling it a little wide, enticing the batsman to go for the extravagant shot. And all Rishi manages to do here is get a slight tickle, and that is a very, very well taken catch by the wicketkeeper. So that is the fall of the 6th wicket for the Avm Yoddhas. They are 134 for 6. So here is Dattaram, the new batsman on strike. Oh, he's played that nicely. First ball up, will get off the mark. And they come back for 2. And they're looking for a third. And they get it. So that is very, very good running indeed. Managing to take the advantage. And that is very, very good presence of mind from Shivanandan to make sure that he gets in that third run. So good awareness and good reading of the game from the non-striker who currently will be on strike now. Let's see. Even he is having a guard that is well outside the crease. Gives it the charge. But good line and length from Ronak. Bowling it nice and full. Just a little bit outside his hitting arc. So what is? Here is Shivanandan. Again a swing and a miss. Here is Shivanandan once again. Oh, he was trying to be aggressive once again, but was forced to play a defensive shot given the angle of the ball. So the 3 balls that he's faced, and that brings us to the end of the 16th over. The AVM Yoddhas are 138 for 6. So a recurring trend in that over where you seen Shivanandan play and miss was that he was trying the right thing. He was trying to put the pressure back on the bowlers by giving them the charge and trying to be a little more aggressive. But he was just not able to get the connection that he was looking for. And that is exactly what has transpired. With four more overs to go and the score at 138 for 6, you probably look and see that at least 40 runs from here will take them to that relative safety of 178. And that is exactly somewhere where the Yoddhas would want to be come the end of their 20 overs. Will they be able to make that target or no is the $1 million question from here, because they don't have a lot of wickets in hand, four only, and they would need runs quick and fast. And there is Ritesh who's come into bowl once again back into the attack. He's currently bowled 2 overs, conceded 18 runs and given away and taken a wicket as well. And it is Shivanandan who will be on strike for the 17th over. Shivanandan facing Ritesh, trying to play the uppercut there. The speed of the ball took him by surprise, and now he's walking away just a little bit to compose himself and gather his thoughts. Here, was looking to play the uppercut, but the ball just rushed on to him a little bit. Having a look at the field now is Shivanandan, standing right on the crease. It's in the air. Did not get any sort of connection whatsoever. Was lucky that the fielder was not able to gather it as well. Here is Dattaram, straight into the hands. What a lovely catch that is by the bowler. That's an excellent grab. And Dattaram has to depart, and that is the 7th wicket down for the Yoddhas at 139. Let's have a look at that tremendous catch there by the bowler. He's bowled it, he's hit that well, and look at that. The reflexes and the presence of mind to be alert to the ball coming at him in speed. Very, very good catch indeed by Ritesh. That is his 2nd wicket. And the Avm Yoddhas finding themselves in a little bit of trouble at 139 for 7. Saurabh is the new batsman out there in the middle, and Ritesh bowling with a little bit of confidence here now. A low full toss, but well presented face of the bat by Saurabh means that he gets off the mark. What? And that is a no ball, in fact. The umpire believes that that is high above the waist, which means Shivanandan now has a glorious chance to have a free swing at this ball courtesy of free hit. Definitely at this point, Shivanandan will fancy his chances of going for the big shot. He knows that the odds are in his favor now, but can he make full advantage of this free hit and give his side a much needed impetus? He's currently batting on 2 of 7, a bit of a hit and miss in terms of the bat. Here he is, and that is given as a wide. A little too down the leg side, and despite Shivanandan giving himself room for it, the ball was well down the leg side, so which means the free hit is still on, courtesy of the wide, and that means the ball is still in Shivanandan's court to make this count. Oh, he wasn't able to there. And Shivanandan clearly upset with himself that he's not able to get any sort of connection on that delivery. He's already played 8 balls for his 2, and with the overs trickling down, he's finally got bat on ball, looking for that quick single, gets it, and good backing up from the fielder there at fine leg means that it will only remain a single. So overall, this is a pretty good over under the circumstances. 5 runs conceded off, and 1 wicket as well. A swing and a miss to bring an end to this over. So another tight over here from Ritesh. 17 overs gone. The Avm Yoddhas are 143 for 7. Final 3 overs of the first innings to go, and the Yoddhas are still they need at least 35 to 40 runs from here on. But the question is, how will they be able to get those runs, and from where exactly? Because this is a time, excuse me, that where you will have to target, where they will have to target a particular bowler. And who will that bowler be? Who among the two batsmen between Shivanandan and Saurabh will take the onus and the responsibility to be the aggressor in these final 3 overs? Will it be Shivanandan? We will find out. Here is Shreyansh bowling to Shivanandan. First ball of the 18th over. Oh, he's played that one nicely. Late. Oh, that was close. Was on the verge of finding that gap very well there. But will have to settle for a single here is Shivanandan. So if we look at the situation at hand, your obvious money will always be on Shivanandan to be the aggressor. Not because of the score, but he's faced 10 deliveries, so he's much more acclimatized to the pitch at this point. Here, another quick single. This is good awareness from Shivanandan to make sure that another run has been added to the total for the Yoddhas. He's looking to take the attack to the bowling side. He hasn't found enough success as of now, but there is still time in his favor, and all it needs is one good shot to bring confidence to any batsman, no matter what your position in the batting order is. Here is Shivanandan once again. He's played that straight down the ground. That's a good looking shot, and well fielded will get a couple of runs in the process. So good running between the wickets, and this was a much better shot from Shivanandan, presenting the full face of the bat, letting the bat in a smooth flow and playing it straight down the ground, and just straight enough to give him that window of sneaking in that second run, which he does. So 4 runs coming off the first 3 deliveries. Here is Shreyansh once again. Does not get the timing he was looking for. They're once again looking for two. Sent back. Just in time. The second run was not on. That was a very good call there. And Saurav heard that call at just the right time, or else that could have been panic stations in the middle. So 5 runs coming off it. 2 more balls to go. As long as there is no boundary here, it's fine. It has been a tight, disciplined over from Shreyansh. But what Shreyansh would avoid and would want to have is no boundaries in these last 2 balls. And it is not only his responsibility, but the responsibility of the fielders as well to avoid conceding a boundary at this juncture. Here, an inside edge, and that is running away. Just when I said that a boundary was not needed at this stage, a lucky inside edge here. Very, very fortunate there. Huge inside edge, and that has beaten the fielder just enough for the ball to race away to the boundary, and that definitely brings the 150 up for the Yoddhas. They are 152 for 7, and 1 more ball left at the end of this 18th over. So Shreyansh giving away 9 runs in this over, and here's the last ball of it. Swing and a miss, and that is the end of the 18th over, and the Yoddhas are 152 for 7. It is Ritesh who finished the recent over. Here is Shivanandan on strike. He's played that nicely, a little innovation out there. They're looking for the second, and that is very well run between the wickets. Very, very well run indeed. So he's picked 2 runs. What can Shivanandan do from here? What can he do from here? How far can he take his side? Here is Shivanandan once again. Oh, he's played that very well indeed. And he's beaten the gap. That's a lovely shot. Beautifully placed. Gives it the charge. Opens the face of the bat. Saw the ball was coming in short and wide. And puts his bat and plays it at just the right time. That is beautiful use of the wrists. And beats that fielder at third man. The deep point, a little too square for the liking. And that is a very, very good shot indeed. So 6 runs coming off the first 2 deliveries. This is the start that Shivanandan and the Yoddhas would have wanted. And that has put the bowler in pressure. Here is Ritesh. Here is Ritesh bowling to Shivanandan. This is in the air. And once again, this time finds the fielder there at third man and will have to settle for a single. So 7 runs coming off the first 3 deliveries. And that brings Saurabh on strike. All right. So 6 runs coming off the first 3 balls. The first ball, which was apparently a 2, was deemed to have been a run short. So that means will only be counted as a single. So 6 runs coming off it. And Ritesh to bowl to Saurabh. Oh, he's played that nicely. But that straight to the field at mid-on and will come across for 1. And that brings Shivanandan onto the middle once again. Two more balls and one more over after this. How many runs can the Yoddhas get from here? Shivanandan now standing slightly ahead of his crease. Played that one nicely. He's beaten the fielder and that is racing away for a boundary. So Shivanandan has now turned on the gears and he's finding the gaps that he wasn't able to find in his first few balls. Beautifully places this just inches away from that fielder at short cover. And Shivanandan suddenly now moves to 17. And this is a big over and just the over that the Yoddhas required. 11 runs coming off it. Shivanandan has stolen a march indeed. And he still has 7 more balls. Last ball of the penultimate over. Ritesh expensive this one. 11 runs off. What can he do in this final delivery? He's in the air. And that is behind the fielder. They will come back for 2. So a big over this. A very, very big over. 13 runs coming off it. The Yoddhas will be very happy and Shivanandan in particular will be happy with the outcome. 165 for 7. There. Gives him the charge over the front foot. Just be enough power to get it behind that fielder. Last over to go. The score 165 for 7 for the AVM Yoddhas. Shivanandan unbeaten on 19 and Saurabh on the other hand a run ball 6. It will be Saurabh who will be on strike for the first ball of the final over. Smart money would dictate that Saurabh takes a single and gives a strike to the set partner, the partner on the other end who's got 2 boundaries in that previous over. And it is Shreyansh who will bowl the final over of the first innings. Here comes Shreyansh bowling to Saurabh. Saurabh plays that well. Has he found the gap? You bet he has. What single? Saurabh says, I'll take matters into my own hands. And a beautiful shot down the ground for 4. That's a brilliant shot. Stylishly executed. Good use of the wrist. The body position in on point. And that is a 4 of the very first ball. Just the start that the Yoddhas required in this over. So the perfect start to the over for the Yoddhas and that puts pressure on the Gladiators for this one. And especially on Shreyansh. Here is Shreyansh bowling to Saurabh. Oh, Saurabh was going to big shot, but Shivanandan smart enough to take advantage of that momentary lapse by the keeper and they scamper across for a bye. That brings the 170 up for the Yoddhas. And that will also bring Shivanandan on strike. So Saurabh has more than held his end of the bargain by hitting a 4 and then taking a single. What can Shivanandan do here? Hits it straight down the ground. He'll definitely be looking for 2 runs here. And that misfield will give him the opportunity to take 2. So this is turning out to be a very, very valuable cameo by Shivanandan. 21 of 18. He did have his shares of swing and miss in 3 consecutive deliveries when he started it. But after that, he's managed to get a good connection and has managed to hit a couple of boundaries Again, that is another good looking shot, but this time straight to the fielder. And they come across for a single. So 8 runs coming off it. 2 more balls to go. 173 for 7. The AVM Yoddhas here. Again, a good bouncer. And that, oh, he's missed it. The keeper had all the time in the world there. This is a good, well-directed bouncer. Very close to the head. And look at this, the keeper had all the time in the world, but he missed it by a matter of inches. Had he hit, Shivanandan was gone. But that means Shivanandan will take strike for the final ball of the side's innings. Here is Shreyansh. Final ball. Gets a little bit of bat. How many runs can he get for it? They're definitely coming for 2. And they're looking for the 3rd, but they won't get that. So that is the end of the batting innings for the AVM Yoddhas. And the final score is a pretty respectable total of 176 for 7. Shivanandan unbeaten on 24. The late impetus from his end making sure that the Yoddhas get to the score of 176. The run chase, the asking target for the Gladiators will be 177 for 7. As we go for a break before the run chase, let's have a look at all the boundaries in the innings for the AVM Yoddhas. So here we are, all in readiness for the run chase. Yatin and Sadanand are the openers for the United Gladiators, and Saurabh will be the one to kickstart proceedings with the ball. Here it is, first ball of the run chase. Oh, that's a good start. Bowling across that fourth stump channel, not allowing, and a good bit of carry and bounce to the keeper as well. The target for the United Gladiators in the 20 overs that are allotted to them is 177 after they put in the Avm Yoddhas to bat, who put out a competitive total of 176 on the board. Yatin was the one who took strike, and Sadanand is the batsman on the non-striker's end. So here is Saurabh, and Yatin has played that one fine, but again it finds the fielder. There was a momentary thought of a quick single, but that was nipped in the bud almost instantly. So Saurabh bowling to Yatin has bowled two dot balls in a row. Again, nicely played and enough to get a quick single, and that has set the tone running for the United Gladiators. They are off the mark in this run chase. Sadanand will take strike for the first time in this contest, and he will be facing Saurabh. It's been a decent start for Saurabh so far. He's bowled fairly consistently those three deliveries onto that fourth stump channel, in and around that corridor of uncertainty. Here he is bowling to Sadanand for the first time. Oh, that's a lovely delivery. That is a beautiful delivery. Excellent over this so far. Look at that. Hold it right under, late shape, beats the batsman, all ends up. And the batsman would consider him fairly fortunate to not get any tickle or an edge. Then that would have set the alarm bells ringing for the Gladiators. Just four balls into that run chase. But no damage. And that is what matters at the end of the day. Stanand to continue. Here is Saurabh for his fifth delivery. Gives himself a little bit of room. Is not able to get any connection or capitalize on that. So another dot ball. So this is a good start. This is a very, very good start with the ball for Saurabh and for the Yoddha. Just what they wanted, to carry that bit of momentum with them as they continue here. Five balls in just one run. Something has to give here. Will Sadanand go for the big shot on the final ball of this over? Or will he just be content to play things out and let things be as it is? Still, not a lot of difference, and still a lot of time in the contest as well. 19 overs after this. Plays the pull, keeps it down to the ground. They're looking for two, but they will get more. In fact, they will get four. So that is the first boundary for the Gladiators. Played that pull shot very well, well directed, and just enough timing for that ball to beat the power fielder into that deep square leg boundary. So they end the over with a boundary, and that is the end of the first over with the Gladiators at 5 for no loss. So 5 for no loss after the end of the first over. 172 required in 19. And Kostub is the bowler who will be bowling from the other end, with Yatin facing him for the first time, currently batting on 1 of 3. And here is Kostub. Nice tight start from Kostub. bowling it right on the line of the stumps, and Yatin very, very happy to just play it right in front of his eyes watchfully. Very interesting to see that the Gladiators also approaching the same way, standing well outside the crease is Yatin, and once again plays it right under his eyes to the bowler, who gets it after a couple of bounces. So for the power play, with only two fielders out, there is a long off and there's a deep cover. So those are the two fielders who are in the deep. So the leg side boundary is empty, and that is exactly, or that will be given as a wide because that was straying down the leg side, and yes, it has been called a wide. So this is the good example of a bowler bowling to his field. He's seen that the captain has set him a field which allows him to bowl on the offside, and he did that for the first two deliveries until that ball where he straight down the leg for a wide. So you'll have to make sure that his margin of error is minimal. That's exactly what I was talking about. Bowling it to his field, there is protection out there, and he will only get a single. And that is the advantage of having a bowler who bowls to his field. He'll give you that. He'll give you those tight overs. He'll not allow the batsman to go for those big shots, and that is probably at this point what will be a huge difference between the win and a loss at this stage of the match. Very early proceedings once again, but a good start from Gostub as far as bowling to his field is concerned. Here is Gostub bowling to Sadanand. Oh, he's taken the aerial route. Falls just in short of that fielder at mid-off. Was trying to go straight over the bowler's head, neither got the timing nor the distance, and found himself very lucky that the ball landed just short of the fielder at mid-on. Good tight start this from Gostub. The field is the same for Sadanand. Oh, swing and a miss. Are we seeing the pressure already get to the batsman this early into the run chase? Here, coming a couple of steps down, just over the stumps. Very, very unfortunate. But again, excellent over from Gostub. He's been spot on and accurate. Here he comes to finish his over strongly. Yes, and he will finish his over very, very strongly indeed. Just a couple of runs from this over. At the end of the second over of this run chase, the United Gladiators are 7 for no loss. Saurabh to continue from the other end, all set to bowl his second over of the game. Gave away 5 runs in that first over, from which the last ball of which was a boundary. And he will definitely look to make sure that he bowls a similar over, minus the boundary this time around. It will be Yatin who will be taking strike for this particular instance, standing a foot outside his crease. A similar approach that was adopted by the batsman of the Yoddhas as well, who was standing outside the crease in order to counter or negate the movement that is on offer. Starts off with a ball that was straying down the leg side. Will be a wide, so you'll have to bowl that one again. 8 for no loss after 2 overs. 169 runs required in 18 overs. The asking rate currently is at 9.39. Here is Saurabh bowling to Yatin. Yatin tried to unsettle Saurabh, looking to gave him the charge, but Saurabh improvising with a very smart piece of bowling by bowling it a little wide of him. This is good cricket all around, especially from the bowler. A very underrated ability of a bowler is his ability to think on his feet. And in a situation like this, where the batsman has already premeditated his decision to give you the charge, it's very crafty from him to just bowl it a little wider. Another good ball. So this is a good start with the ball from both the opening bowlers of the Yoddhas. There again, the ball shaping it away from the batsman, leaving the batsman at just the last moment when he opens the face of the bat. So that has been good bowling. Lines and lengths have been perfect. The execution has been spot on, and there has been the odd bit of improvisation as well. Still a long way to go, but a good start nevertheless. Here comes Saurabh to Yatan. Again, gives him the charge but does not get the connection. Eventually, they do come across for a single. The umpire says not out because Yatan had already reached his ground by then. Here is Saurabh bowling to Sadanand. Hits it straight back down to the bowler once again, but that misfield means that they get another single. So good bowling this. Only 3 runs conceded, 2 of which were singles and one of them being a wide. Just a solitary boundary in the first 16 deliveries of this run chase. That goes to show how tight things have been from the bowling side to stifle Yatin and Sadanand as of now. Here is Saurabh once again. Plays that down the ground and that will probably be another single. Yes, it is. Failed to gather it cleanly there, the fielder at mid-on. The singles won't hurt them. Even this early into the contest, the singles won't be much of a problem as far as the Yoddhas are concerned. However, they will be mindful of the fact that a couple of boundaries here will once again bring the Gladiators back into the contest, or at least give them a firm foothold in what they're trying to achieve as far as the run chase goes. It's been a nice tight over. Saurabh would want to finish it strongly. Here he comes. And he does finish it strongly. That's a dot ball. Just 4 runs coming off it. That is the end of the third over. The Gladiators are 11 for no loss. So the opening pair will continue with Kostub to bowl his second over from the other end. Gave away just 2 runs in his first over. So this is a good opening bowling partnership. We talk a lot about opening batting partnerships. Here is an instance of a good bowling partnership where both the bowlers understanding their responsibilities well. Oh, that's a brilliant start. A half hopeful appeal for LBW, but nothing doing, says the umpire. There. Clips the pad a bit, scrambles the batsman, beats him all ends up. The batsman was unable to read the ball, tried to play it on one side. There he goes, squared up. It's rather fortunate, I would say. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. And Yatin finally gets a chance to free his arms. It was looking like he had been under the shackles, but that boundary will give him a much needed lift of confidence. A much needed confidence booster this for Yatin. Here, standing outside his crease, it was short, picks that nicely into the slot, and he beats that fielder there for 4. So a boundary coming after a considerable period of time, and that will definitely do Yatin's confidence a huge world of good. He's trying to play. Here is Kostub bowling to Yatin again. Yatin trying to be a little expansive with that cut shot. Is beaten all ends up. The intent was probably right. But the execution just off by a matter of centimeter. Here is Kostub, and Yatin this time plays it down the ground. The field at long on will gather, and it'll only be a single. So the score slowly but steadily motoring along. Currently at 16 for no loss. It is a bit of a sedate start, a watchful start, I must say. However, one big over will change that. Another single taken, Sadanand this time. So that'll make it 6 runs in this over. We have one more ball to go in this 4th over. Let me tell you, the field restrictions are in place, and it is long on and long off who are the fielders in the deep for the Yoddhas. Yatin to face Kostub. Yatin currently a 9 of 14 and make that 9 of 15, and that is the end of the 4th over, and the United Gladiators are 17 for no loss. And here is the first bowling change for the Yoddhas in this contest. And that is Shivanandan, who is being introduced into the bowling attack by the looks of it. There's a bit of a conference going on between the members of the Yoddhas side, but it is Shivanandan who seems to have the ball in his hand, and it looks like it will be him who will be bowling his first over of the game. Shivanandan, but a decent. Volume So Shivanandan will start proceedings. His team will be banking upon him to have a much more pronounced and a much more telling impact with the ball, and the same way that he had with the bat. Can he inspire his side, who have got off to a good start in defending the total that they have on the board? The run rate that started off at around 8.7 is now already reached 10. So the tight bowling by the two opening bowlers has given Shivanandan a good platform to continue putting the squeeze on the batting side. Here he comes. Bowls it nice and wide, but he slapped that to the point boundary for 4. Not the start that Shivanandan was looking for. Just gives him enough room on that offside to free his arms, and Sadanand does not need a second invitation to executes that cut shot to perfection, and that is gone to the boundary. So just the start that the Gladiators wanted, not exactly the start that Shivanandan or the Yoddhas were looking for. Shivanandan will have to put that first ball outside his memory. There he is. Oh, that's a good ball. Straight to the fielder at mid off. Much better line and length on this particular occasion. Bowls it full, bowls it straight, bowls it right in the block hole. Here he is, bowling to Sadanand once again. Oh, he takes the aerial route this time. And oh, that was an excellent effort there. And even better fielding to make sure that it is only a single and not two. Good ball this from him. There, little bit of flight gets the higher part of the bat, and that is an excellent effort. Kudos to that fielding effort out there in the deep, but he was just not able to reach the ball on time. 5 runs coming off Shivanandan, but this time he will be bowling to Yatin, who is struggling a bit for fluency at the moment, 9 of 15. There, plays it down the ground. Will get a single. So this is a nice little comeback from Shivanandan after conceding that boundary of the first ball. Just giving away 2 runs from the next 3 balls. He'd like to end the over strongly as well. Try and avoid conceding a boundary in these next 2 deliveries. Their ball's just that little wide, but this time there is protection out there. So will only get a single. Here is Yatin. He'll be facing Shivanandan for the final ball of this over. Yeah, he will have to bowl that one again because that's been called as a wide by the umpire. Going down the leg side. Good gather by the keeper. Here is Shivanandan to bowl the final ball of the 5th over again. Yatin giving him the charge. And that is agonizingly close. We're waiting for the umpire's signal. Only a single. What an excellent piece of fielding that has been from the fielder at deep mid wicket. That's a brilliantly timed shot from Yatin, but look at this fielding effort. He has saved 5 runs for his side. Waiting for the final call. Five overs gone. The score 26 for no loss with the Gladiators. And Rishi is the one introduced into the bowling attack. Here is Yatin. Plays that nicely, but no run. That was an excellent fielding effort there in the deep in the last ball of the previous over. Definitely saving 5 runs for his side. And here's Rishi bowling to Yatin. Oh, and he's knocked him over. Brilliant, brilliant ball this from Rishi. And the Yoddhas strike first blood. Yatin's innings did not get any fluency and he has to depart for 11 of 18. The United Gladiators suffer their first loss, 26 for 1. There gives a little bit of loop here, lures him to be come ahead, and he was stranded halfway. Look at that, the ball keeping just a little low here. Yes, just a little low. Did not read it from the hand and eventually sees his stumps get disturbed. 26 for 1, the Gladiators. And we are into the final 4 balls of the power play. And the Yoddhas will be very happy with the fact that they have conceded just 3 boundaries in, not exactly much. So good bowling performance overall, and that is exactly what the doctor ordered as far as the Yoddhas are concerned. However, they will want to make sure that they continue to perform in the same way with it, with as far as the fielding is concerned as well. Rishi started very well indeed. Shreyansh is the new batsman walking out to the middle, getting ready to take strike for the first time. Here is Shreyansh. Rishi. Oh, that's a lovely shot first up. And that is gone for 6. What a way to get off the mark. In the slot, asking to be hit. Free swing of the arms, good extension, and enough power to go, right through the fielder's hands there. And that is gone all the way for 6. So a bit of upliftment here for the Gladiators. Shreyansh getting off the mark with a 6 of the very first ball. Pitching well outside. The impact clearly missing the wickets. But Shreyansh making his intent very clear. He was looking for that slog sweep in this particular instance, went for a big shot in the very first ball as well. So all in all, he is looking for a quick flow of runs. They're trying to be a little cheeky this time, but he misses it, finds the keeper. So after that 6th back-to-back good deliveries, and that is the end of the power play. 6 overs gone, just 6 runs conceded and a wicket. 32 for 1, the United Gladiators. So if you look at it, it's a very successful power play as far as the bowling side is concerned. They've conceded their runs at less than a run a ball and have also managed to get a wicket in the process as well. And that has meant that the required run rate is well above 10.5 and over. Shivanandan will continue to bowl his second over. Shivanandan taking his time, making sure that the field is set right to his specifications, which is a good thing to see. He's taking charge. He knows exactly what his plans are with the ball. And that is exactly what you see when a bowler is taking initiative. That is the experience talking. Deep square leg, long on, long off, a deep extra cover. Here is Shivanandan. And he's knocked him over. And that is what experience does. That is excellent piece of bowling from Shivanandan. Just took that wee bit of extra time to set the field, and that sowed enough of a doubt in the batsman's mind. And Shivanandan gets his first wicket, and that is 2 wickets in quick succession for the Gladiators, and they are well and truly pegged back. Yeah, good ball. Keeps it in that stump line. A little bit of late turn. Sadanand going for that slog sweep. Misses it completely. And that goes on to clip the off stump. Shivanandan strikes. And the Gladiators currently in trouble. There, boom. And that is probably the best sight for a bowler, watching the stumps rattle. And the Gladiators now are 32 for 2. Perfect way for the Yoddhas to start the middle phase of this innings with a wicket of the first ball. And now, with two comparatively new batsmen on the crease, with Ronak, the new batsman, walking out into the middle, that will be a little bit of an issue. And this is the perfect opportunity to just make things a little more tight in terms of run scoring, where the Yoddhas will want to put a squeeze and make sure that the run flow is blocked, forcing both the batsmen to try a shot that is not in their best interests. Shivanandan to continue. Nice forward defensive stroke from Ronak first up. While no runs, and be happy to get bat on ball in that particular instance. Here is Shivanandan. Again plays that forward defense. Was unable to get his hand on that, so we'll get a single. A direct hit and a hopeful shot for run out, but not out. Nothing doing, says the umpire. Ronak well and truly in the crease by that point. Ronak getting off the mark with that single at long on. Peel, but that's been given as a wide. It's a little bit outside the off stump tram line. It's wide enough to be called a wide, so you'll have to bowl that one again with Shivanandan. Here he comes. A little bit of spring in his step. Much better ball. Another forward defense. So very, very good over this from Shivanandan after going for 9 in the first over. And this time once again, so it's been excellent over so far. Still one more ball to go. Conceded just 2 runs off it. Shivanandan will want to finish this strongly, preferably a wicket but not a boundary. And he's knocked him over. What a brilliant over this has been from Shivanandan. 2 wickets in the over and just 2 runs. Excellent delivery. The Gladiators in all sorts of trouble now, well and truly on the back foot. Look at that, bowling straight, bowling tight, and yes, that was no chance. That was not the ball that he would be looking to pull. And he has got timber once again. He's hit the stumps twice this over, and that is the evidence of accuracy. So Shivanandan has been accurate in this over. 2 runs and 2 wickets. 7 overs gone, and the Gladiators now are well and truly under the pump. 35 for 3. 34 for 3. What an excellent over this was from Shivanandan. Excellent, excellent over. Starts with a wicket, ends with a wicket. Accuracy, deception, drift and turn, everything on display. Brilliant. And that over has more than effectively ensured that it is the Yoddhas who will be calling the shots from here on, having assembled having ascended to a position of strength where they can run the strings for the next couple of overs, or at least for the next 3 to 5 overs. Rishi is the new bowler to continue his over. Gave away 6 in his first over and took a wicket as well. Very interesting to see that all the wickets have been taken by both the spinners. Okay, nicely bowled there, a little bit of flight. Good work by the keeper to keep it down to just a single. This is good tight bowling by the bowling unit all throughout. All the bowlers have chipped in very, very well. And as I speak, a leg glance will get only a single though. This has been a great bowling performance as a unit. Be it Rishi, be it Sadanand, or be it the opening bowlers who set the tone with some tight bowling up front. Here is Ronak. Takes the aerial route, hits it straight down the ground, and that is gone for 6. Great shot from Ronak. A little on the slot, a half volley-ish sort of a ball. And Ronak just swings his arm with the turn and plays it with the line, hits it straight over the bowler's head for 6. So a little bit of impetus coming slowly and steadily to the Gladiators innings. But they will need a few more of those big hits if they have to stay in the hunt. Another good shot, this time down the ground. Will only be a single to the fielder at long off. Nine runs coming off this over. Much needed over in the context for the Gladiators. They still have 2 more balls to make the most out of this. Dot ball. Oh, Sandeep takes the aerial route as well. And that is gone for 6. And that is another big shot. Sandeep getting into the act this time. Just enough power to get it past that fielder. And that has gone all the way as well. So this has been a big over. 15 runs coming off it. 8 overs gone. 49 for 3. So very, very interesting decision this by the bowling side. They have given 3 straight overs to Shivanandan. Shivanandan will bowl his 3rd over on the trot. He bowled an excellent 2nd over, giving away just 2 runs and taking 2 wickets. Probably they would want another couple of wickets in this over to probably just ice the game on a whole as a contest. Here is Shivanandan bowling to Ronak. It's wide. We'll have to bowl that one again. Shivanandan has been fairly accurate in his spell. First instance of a ball that he's drifted outside the off stump and well wide, in fact. Here is Shivanandan bowling to Ronak. Oh, he's taken the aerial route and he stands and delivers. What a start to the over this from Ronak. Brilliant, brilliant shot this. Just stands, waits for the ball to come to him, uses his power to devastating effect and hits it straight over Shivanandan's head for 6. The wide bringing up the 50, and this six signifying potentially a change in the flow of the game. We had two big sixes in the previous over. This is the third six in the space of 7 deliveries. This is a sign of the Gladiators well and truly making a move as they look to chase down this target of 177. Shivanandan will definitely not take the fact that he was hit for six lightly. He will be looking to come back, and he will be looking to come back strong in this particular instance. But what will his game plan be? There's a little bit of a delay. There's a wait for a new ball. Here is Shivanandan bowling to Ronak. Oh, that's a brilliant delivery. That's a big appeal for the stumping. Not out, says the umpire. But once again, that is a very, very strong comeback. Good ball, deceiving the batsman in the air. Comfortably in was Ronak. But that is a good comeback from Shivanandan after being hit for six. Can he continue in the same vein? Here is Ronak. Plays it well. A good bit of footwork there, but will eventually. Shivanandan to continue to Ronak. Two dot balls after the six in quick succession. Oh, he's played that one nicely. Oh, he's played that one beautifully, in fact. That has gone to the four. Excellent shot. Look at that. Look at this. Beautiful lofted cover drive. So this is an expensive over in the context of the game. 11 runs coming off it. Hits it to the long off fielder for a single. So 12 runs coming off this over. Slowly and steadily, they are making a move. There is a pronounced shift in the way that both the batsmen have approached this. Ronak in particular playing the role of the aggressor. He's moved on to 20 of 10 deliveries. Sandeep, on the other hand, at 7 of his 3 deliveries with a 6 of his first ball. So he'll be looking to add a little bit of fuel to the fire as the Gladiators look to chase down this target. They still need 116. Still a way off, but still not completely off. Oh, he's hit that straight down the ground. But there is protection. Looking for a 2, but more sent back. So big over, a good over as far as the Gladiators are concerned. 13 runs coming off it, 9 overs gone, 62 for 3. So we are back after the drinks break, and Prathamesh will be the bowling change as he is introduced into the attack. 9 overs gone. The Gladiators are 62 for 3, needing 115 runs in the 11 overs that they have in hand with an asking rate of 10.45. Plays it nicely off the back foot, however, do they get a single? I guess not. Yeah, it's a dot ball to start. A little on the shorter side and just a little wide. It's a perfect ball to cut. Unlucky that he found the fielder. Sandeep is currently batting on 8 of 5. It's a little bit of an edge. They will come through for a single. That brings the danger man Ronak on strike. Ronak has been by far the aggressor in this innings. He's played 10 balls for his 20 and he is looking good at the moment. The onus will currently be on Ronak to get as many runs out of the target as possible. Here is Prathamesh to Ronak. Whoa, was trying to play the drive on the up. The bounce took him by surprise. Yeah, he was all set to play that drive, but that little bit of bounce caught him unawares. And again, pretty fortunate that he did not find the edge in that instant. Prathamesh to Ronak once again. Plays it nicely into that extra cover region for a single. So good over overall. Just 2 singles of it in the 4 deliveries so far. And that puts a little bit of added pressure on the Gladiators because they do need a boundary now. And that's another dot ball, a swing and a miss this time. Trying to slash that ball towards the point region. But that is 3 dot balls and 2 singles. So now the run rate that was just hovering around 10.2 is now 11.11. And that is exactly how pressure is built, and that is exactly how the batting side will feel the heat. Just trying to go for that big hoik. Will have to settle only for a single. So excellent over this. 3 singles off it. We're halfway through to the run chase, and that is 65 for 3. A dot, a single, a dot, a single, a dot, and a single in alternate sequence. 112 runs required in the final 10 overs with an asking rate of 11.2. Seems like a pretty uphill battle, but with 7 wickets still in hand and a couple of big overs here and there, could easily tilt the game towards the favor of the Gladiators. Was trying to get away with that, but it was hit his pad, so they will sneak in a leg by. Saurabh is the new bowler who's brought back into the attack after a while. be bowling his third over. Gave away just 9 runs, did not take a wicket, but has bowled tightly with his lines and lengths, bowled in a very disciplined manner as well. Ronak to face Saurabh for the first time. I think the onus will now well and truly be on Ronak to get a couple of big shots in this over. The previous over just came three singles along with it. So the need for a boundary, or more than one boundary actually, need a couple of boundaries in this over is of utmost importance. Oh, that the sound of the bat. The moment it hit the ball, you knew that that was six. Look at that sweet sound it made. What a connection. When Ronak hits them, it stays hit. And that traveled a long way for six. So they've got one boundary. They need a couple more. And Ronak has once again come up with the goods when it matters for his side. In the air, taken at the second attempt. So the bowler in style. What a response from the bowler. After being clattered for six in the previous delivery, he is back with the perfect riposte. A slow ball hits the ball into the deck. Look at that. Slower delivery hits the ball into the deck. The ball comes up on Ronak, and all Ronak could do was just fend it straight to the bowler, who has the presence of mind to gather it at the second attempt. And just when it felt like Ronak was taking the attack to the bowling, the Yoddhas come with the crucial breakthrough, and now once again the Gladiators peg back 72 for 4. Kamesh is the new batsman out in the middle. 72 for 4, the Gladiators still 105 runs away. The target seems to be a long way away now that Ronak has been sent back to the pavilion. Gets off the market. No, no, he doesn't. Conservative looking shot. No run for it. Perfect opportunity to pull things back for the bowling side. Now they've got the well set batsman out. Kamesh bowling to Saurabh. Oh, we'll have to bowl that one again. Saurabh will have to bowl that one again. That's been given as a wide, string down the leg side. Here is Saurabh. Oh, excellent take by the keeper. An appeal, but that was more of a hopeful punt than anything else. 73 for 4. The required run rate now up to 11.35. 8 runs coming off this over. One more ball to go. Again plays it straight down to the bowler. So that is an excellent over after being hit for a 6. Saurabh coming back in style. And once again it is the Yoddhas who have the upper hand in this contest. 11 overs gone. The Gladiators are 73 for 4. Here is Prathamesh bowling to Sandeep, but once again misses his run up. We'll have to start that one again. Here he comes. Bowls it nicely. That channel, only for a single. Here is Kamesh. Called a wide there. Just straying a little bit outside the tram line on the off stump side. Here is Kamesh. Lets that one go as well because that is a wide too. So back-to-back wides for Prathamesh. This time bowls a much better delivery and finally breaks that streak of consecutive wides. Bowls it just around that fourth stump area. Kamesh having that urge to go for the cut. Yes, Prathamesh once again. Oh, was trying to steer that down to third man. Was dangerously close to the edge once again. So Kamesh flirting with danger a little bit. Trying to produce a shot out of nowhere. He'll have to be very careful here. That could prove to be his undoing. The last thing you want is another wicket in quick succession. Again, once again, this is excellent bowling from Prathamesh. Once again, forcing Kamesh to play a shot that he wasn't comfortable doing so. This is excellent bowling and excellent strategy by the bowler. And that has already put the pressure on the batting side massively because the required run rate is now jumped up to over 12 runs an over. Oh, full toss, and that's gone for 4. not the ball that he was hoping to bowl after three excellent deliveries on the trot. Wide, full toss, and swings hard at that, beats that fielder with ease, and that travels to the fence for a much needed boundary for the Gladiators. Again, that's been called a wide, this time straying down the leg side. Here is Prathamesh once again. It's been a big. Oh, that's a huge appeal for LBW, and he's given. And that is the fall of the fifth wicket for the Gladiators. Just when I was talking, Kamesh had been flirting with danger for quite a while. He was trying to manufacture shots out of nowhere, and especially the ones where he was clearly not comfortable from doing so. And this is another example of that. He was trying to play some shot. He got himself horribly entangled in front of the stumps, and that was out. So Kamesh has to walk back. The Gladiators now have lost half their side for 81, and that is the end of the 12th over. Eight overs more, 96 runs to win. Seems like a very, very uphill task from here on to get to that total, especially with half their side gone. Ram is the new batsman in the middle. He will be facing Prathamesh. No. Oh, that's a good shot. Very good shot first up. One bounce into the rope for four. Good shot this from Ram. Lovely way to get off the mark in style. There. Just a little wide and on the full side. Enough room for him to swing his arms and just go in with the shot with the follow up. Jayesh, not the perfect introduction into the attack for Jayesh, who's been taken for a boundary in his very first ball. And I beg your pardon, it was Sandeep who was hitting that boundary and not Ram. It's an appeal, nothing doing, a much better delivery this time, beating the batsman for room and cramping him up. Here is Jayesh bowling to Sandeep. Even Jayesh trying something out of the ordinary, a huge appeal, but not outside the umpire, and it seems like the keeper is in a little bit of discomfort. Copped a blow, let's hope it's not that painful. The keeper seems to be alright now. Sandeep facing Jayesh. Jayesh this time missing his run up, so we'll have to do that one again. Sandeep trying to cut. Again, that has been the recurring problem for the batsmen of the Gladiators. They're trying to manufacture shots that either they are not comfortable playing with or that the shots are not on in the first place. That is an undue risk which not only puts the pressure on yourself but on the pressure on the team chasing a target. Wide. We'll have to bowl that one again. Here is Jayesh bowling to Sandeep. Plays that one nicely. There is protection there. That's only be a single. And that will bring Ram on strike for his first ball of this match. He will be facing Jayesh. Here is Ram. Will get a couple of runs to get off the mark. And that is the end of the 13th over with the score for the United Gladiators 89 for 5. Prathamesh bowling to Sandeep. It's edged and gone. And that is the sixth wicket to fall for the Gladiators. There is trying to glide it past third man, this delivery, but unfortunately gets a tickle, only manages to get a leading edge, and the keeper gathers a comfortable catch in the back. 6 wickets down, and with every passing wicket, the chances of overhauling this target looks unlikely now. 89 for 6, the Gladiators. Ritesh walks out to the middle as we speak. Prathamesh bowling to Ritesh, and Ritesh gets off the mark. No, he doesn't. So Ritesh is the new man walking out to the middle. So excellent bowling display from Prathamesh, giving away just 11 runs into his third over. Picked up 2 wickets. Again, another dot ball. So they're neither able to rotate the strike nor are able to get the boundaries. That is obviously putting more and more pressure on the batting side. Here is Ritesh again. Most of the batsmen from the Gladiators are trying to play the cut shot, but they haven't had a lot of success doing that. And this is just another example of that. Pretty simple. If you're not able to get much out of that shot, don't play it in the first place. However, there is confidence that they will be able to pull it off. There, once again, beaten for pace, and that is an excellent over so far. Not a single run conceded. Can he bowl a maiden in the circumstances? That would be an excellent feather in his cap if he does manage to bowl the maiden. Here it is, and it is a maiden indeed, a wicket maiden to go for it. Excellent over this from Prathamesh. Absolutely brilliant bowling. 14 overs gone. 89 for 6. Jayesh brought back into the attack after bowling his first over that went for 8. And Ram is the batsman who will be on strike. Here is Jayesh. Plays it off the back foot nicely. Will get a couple of runs once again. Only 2. Ram to continue to take strike. He's currently on 4 of 2 balls. Here is Jayesh bowling to him. Puts it straight back to him for no run. Trying to play the cut shot again, but not being able to get any bat on it. Here is Jayesh bowling to Ram. We'll have to bowl that one again because that is a wide. Jayesh to continue to bowl to Ram. Plays it off the back foot and will get a single. Looking for the second, but decide against it. So it'll only be a single. So 5 balls into the over. Just 5 runs coming off it. 4 runs and 4 balls actually. One of them being a wide, a couple of runs and a single. Plays it off the front foot, but this time there is a fielder there, so no run. Dot ball. So 93 for 6. 84 to win from 31 deliveries. The required run rate is a mammoth 16.26. Plays it off, will get a single, so that is 84 required of the last 5. After the end of 15 overs, the United Gladiators are 93 for 6. We're into the final 5 overs of this contest, and it seems to be like a very, very uphill battle from here. Get 83 runs in 30 deliveries. 83 runs needed of 30 deliveries with just 4 wickets in hand. Very, very unlikely to think of a situation where the Gladiators will probably come on top. But we've seen stranger things happen in the game of cricket. Starts off with a dot delivery. Again, that was a dead ball, signaled by the umpire. Here comes Kostub. Plays it on the up, gets only a leaning edge, and that is another dot ball. So not much going in terms of the Gladiators, in terms of not only the strike rotation, but no shots as well. They've just been stuck in an endless rut of dot ball after dot ball. As you can see, another 3 dot balls played on the trot. Just like a classic case of an innings going absolutely nowhere. Should try to go for the big shots, at least reduce the deficit. Make sure that the net run rate does not have any negative impact because of this. And that is another wicket. Wicket number 7. And it goes from bad to worse from here. Let's have a look at that wicket once again. Looking for that pull, gets an edge, and that is gone on to an appeal for LBW, and that was given out with the umpire raising his finger. So that is the fall of the 7th wicket. 94 for 7. Amit, the new batsman, out in the middle. Ankit, I beg your pardon. Ankit at number 9. Really not good signs here for the Gladiators. Plays that down the ground, will only be a single. And the towel coming out, probably the early indication that there will be dew. But this is an excellent over from Kostov. Just one run off it and a wicket. Ram swings hard, and that is a much needed boundary for the Gladiators. Swings it very hard indeed. Yes, there it is. And that goes to the rope for 4. So the end of 16 overs, 99 for 7. So Jayesh comes back into the attack. Ankit is the batsman on strike. 99 for 7 after 16 overs. The Gladiators still need 78 runs in the final 4 overs, but only 3 wickets in hand. Plays it down the ground. Will only be a single. Brings the 100 up for the Gladiators. That single, that would probably be the only sign of solace in what has been an otherwise ordinary batting display. They did try to break down the shackles a little bit, but they were just not able to. Here, once again, trying to go for the big shot was Ram. Again, they're looking for the second, but sent back. Will only be a single. Here is Jayesh. And a little bit of sportsman spirit there. The bowler helping to tie the laces of the non-striker. At the end of the day, that is what our game is about. Camaraderie. Here is Jayesh all in readiness. Now to bowl to Ankit. In the air, good looking shot. Will come back for 2. No, yes, they will eventually. The misfield makes sure that they will come back for the second run. Here is Jayesh. Ankit finally plays that dab to third man. A quick throw. Will get a single. Just a single. 5 runs coming off the first 4 deliveries. Ram currently batting on 10 of 7. Plays it down the ground. Will once again be a single. Here is Ankit facing Jayesh. A huge appeal for LBW. Not out, says the umpire. So the dot ball to finish the over. 17 overs gone. 105 for 7. Misfield, but that will only be a single, so nothing much doing. Score just ambling along at this point with just singles and the odd boundary, but the odd boundaries have been few and far between. Are they looking for the single? Oh, casual bit of cricket, almost lost his wicket there, but he eventually makes his ground. Goes for the big shot. No connection whatsoever, will only be another single. Again going for the big shot, no connection, but will only get 1 run. So another single takes that score to 108. Just not happening today. One of these days where it just hasn't happened for the Gladiators, no matter what they tried. Wide, bowl that one again. Place that down the ground, will only be a single. So runs just coming in singles at the moment. It's 5 runs off the over, and it will only be 5 runs off the over, so 18 overs gone. It's 110 for 7. So a single of the first ball of this over. 66 required of 11. Nile. Oh, he's picked that one nicely. And that's gone to the boundary for 4. Nile bowling his first over of the game. Picks the bones out of that one, and that has gone convincingly to the boundary for 4. A little too late because 62 needed of 10. All of this now will only just be academic. Here is Nile bowling to Ram. Ram tries to pick that one again, but this time there is protection. And oh, I spoke too soon. A misfield, and that has gone to the boundary. There, a similar shot. Fielder should have had that under control, but it just went right between his legs to the boundary rope for 4. Unfortunate there, but these boundaries proving a little bit of a help, especially at a time when net run rate would definitely be important. So they'll try to reduce the margin of the defeat as much as possible. And all these runs very, very handy in the bigger picture. We'll play that down the ground for a single. Here is Ankit to face Nilav. He's picked that one. That is gone to the boundary for another 4. So 3 boundaries in this over. 2 courtesy of the misfield. This being the second one. He's picked that one nicely, flicked it beautifully. But again, the fielder should have had that under control. But again, casual fielding. Let that go. So it's the end of the over. 19 overs gone. 124 for 7. So Chetan to bowl the final over of this contest, with the United Gladiators needing 53 runs to win. Oh, he's picked the bones out of that. That is going and gone. That is hit the floodlights for 6. That is a massive 6 from Ram. Brilliant strike that in the air, and that is gone and hit the base of the floodlights for 6. Huge strike. He's connected the bones out of that one. That's the second delivery, and that is taken. No, it isn't. They will come back for 2. So 2 runs after the 6. Some great fielding out there in the deep. Was not able to complete the catch, but he was certainly able to save the ball from going to the boundary for 6. That's in the air, and that again misfield, that will go to the boundary for 4. So some late fireworks by Ram, making sure that the scoreboard is added a level of respectability for the Gladiators. Again, a little bit of a lackadaisical approach from the fielder at long off, meaning that the ball trickles away to the boundary for 4. Had these overs come in a little earlier, it would have been a huge, huge difference if they had to chase the target. But it is not the case. Here is Ram facing Chetan. He's missed that completely, but they will get the bye. Two more balls to go. 40 runs required. Plays that down the ground for a single. So the last ball of the innings, the last ball of the game, it has been a professional performance from the AVM Yoddhas with the bat and with the ball. And here they are on the cusp of a convincing victory with Chetan bowling the last ball to Ram. Here we go. So Ram plays it down the ground for only a single, and that is the game. It is the AVM Yoddhas who have beaten the United Gladiators by 37 runs. They were convincing right from the start with the bat, and they backed their batting performance with a very, very disciplined performance with the ball. Every one of their bowlers did their part in defending this target with consummate ease. For the Gladiators, it was just one of those days when nothing seemed to have worked. They tried their best, and some late hitting in the end by Ram added a bit of respectability to the total, but it never looked at any moment that they would be able to overhaul this target. So at the end of it all, this match results in a victory for the AVM Yoddhas by 37 runs. I am Delvin, and it has been a pleasure guiding you through this game. We will see you on the other side with another game soon. Till then, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye for now.